Smokey say, I love you. I love you.
Oh, Smokes. Hey. It's been a little while. I have some stuff for you guys from about a month ago. I got good news and bad news. There's something bad happened about a month ago. The following clip will explain everything and what happened afterwards, which was us getting stupid busy. But we're kind of coming on to the tail end of this second big push, and I have some time now, so back to the channel. But yeah, we'll get back into this, guys, and I'm sorry for the month-long hiatus. There was just an absurd amount of work that had to be done, and there was just really no time for videos, YouTube videos. But we're gonna things are gonna taper off a little bit. We'll get into the good news and the bad news and everything that's happened in the last month, and we'll talk soon. All right, enjoy. What is this crazy purple colored engine oil? Royal purple. I don't know what the hell that stuff is. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben with Mechanized Cleaning Solutions, and it's Sunday. What time is it? What day is it? Sunday, February 20th. I got some good news and some bad news. We'll get into that in a minute, but I'm down here at the shop, which we've fully taken over. I think you guys might remember my mom had some space over here she was kind of sharing with us with her paintings and art. But we took the whole thing over. She's gonna go do something else with her space. So we got the shop opened up quite a bit. I'm down here post big proj doing engine oil changes and getting ready for another big push. No rest for the weary. Yeah, I'm a little distracted right now. I've been kind of checked out. That was not the plan. The plan was to document and video and get a whole bunch of useful, interesting information whilst cleaning a big project, and keep up with this process of learning how to do this work, especially on a large scale, and share that with you guys. But like I said, we got some good news and some bad news, and we should probably start with the bad news first. Our beautiful boy, Smokey, he's sorry, I don't want to cry right now. Our dog, Smokey, our big male husky, passed away last weekend, completely by surprise. And it was just a heart crusher. That dog was like the coolest thing ever. He was my best friend. And we had to say goodbye at 9:30 on a Saturday morning. What happened was he wound up developing a really aggressive form of lymphoma, fast moving, like days, not weeks or months, like days, like less than a week. It was about a week actually. And we knew there was an issue with the stomach, and I'm like, right off the bat, I'm like, oh my God, stomach cancer. I know what happened. He comes in and hangs out with me in the shop and lays on the dirty shop floor, and then he goes home and licks his fur, and I'm like, I know he's got some like heavy metal contamination or just something, and I was like, oh my God, I killed my dog, and I just freaked out. But the vets were like, no, it's not that at all. It's not anything that had to do with his diet. It was a hereditary thing. It's kind of common to this breed. Some dogs have it, some dogs don't. And it just comes on, and it's actually very curable, but it's really hard to determine that they have it because they don't do anything until the very end. And they can, apparently they have some kind of treatment where they give them some drugs and it kills all the cancer like in one shot, and then their body releases it all in one fell swoop. I don't know how this works, but it's really hard on their heart. And the vets were like, he's definitely not going to survive the treatment at this point. If we had maybe found it like a month before, he definitely could have saved him and it would have been fine. But he was days or hours away from a critical stomach rupture and imminent internal bleeding that would have been absolutely fatal. And the vets absolutely advised us to get ahead of that and go ahead and see him out in more comfortable circumstances. So we brought a professional in, and we couldn't save him. Just a heart crusher, total heart crusher. And I just, my experience right now is a mix of crazy excitement and optimism and just profound heartbreak. And this dog, was so unique and amazing. I've never had a dog. I've had I've had hundreds of dogs literally growing up. My dad was a duck hunter. We always had litters and litters of labs and bird dogs, and then later they moved on to Chihuahuas when they got older. Neither one of those breeds were really my speed. I definitely like Labradors. I grew up with them. But it never really occurred to me to have a dog of my own, really, until we met Smokey. These Huskies, man, they're something else. They're totally a trip. And yeah, I don't really know what to say other than that my friend is gone. And my heart is broken. And I miss him. But he must have had important business elsewhere, and I wouldn't begrudge him moving on to new experiences, even if those experiences are no experience. And Smokey was really amazing. He was very independent. He was almost like a cat. He didn't really want to be touched a lot, and he said, fucking leave me alone. I'm a big boy. Just don't oogle over me. He's very cool like that. Just kind of his own man. But he was also very emotionally sensitive. If he even thought for a split second that there was anything wrong with you, he would always, every single time, he'd come up and look at you with these just big blue eyes and this loving look on his face and be like, hey, monkey, what are you so sad about? Why don't you cheer up? And he'd come put his head on your lap, and he would just cuddle with you for 15 or 20 minutes or maybe an hour and just comfort you. He was very emotionally intuitive and perceptive. He always knew when there was something wrong, and there was always something wrong with us because we got this fucking crazy business that drives us crazy. Always freaking out about money, always thinking we're going to go bankrupt and not going to make it. And I mean, I'm being a little overly dramatic because it's not really like that anymore, but it was like that for years. And Smokey really came in and saw us through the toughest years of our business. And his departure is just as peculiar. It seems to have coincided with the end of that phase, like almost like his little soul mission was to come in and see us through these really hard times and provide us this incredible base of emotional support, and always as a reminder to not take this stuff too seriously. We're here on this planet to try really hard, but we got to give everything back in the end, and nothing lasts forever. And it's been a while since I've been around any death to speak of, and but it's nice to be reminded that in the end it's all going to be taken away. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, everything is going to be taken from you. You got to give it all back to the world, and you got to go in the dirt. So it's a good reminder to treat people well and respect and take advantage of the time you have here. And I guess that's really all I have to say about that, except that the day after he died, because I was just such a couple of days on either side of that is when we really understood what was going on. The day before he died on a Saturday, we really became aware that there was a major problem on Thursday. And like that night, actually, is when we got word back from the vet that there was a cancer, and we had to scramble and do some tests Friday morning, and they were going to try to save him. But we just thought he was bored and just not feeling good or something. He's always drinking pond scum water and getting Giardia. The dog, he had very little scruples about what he ate. He seemed to be more concerned about the health of his immune system and testing his immune system all the time. He always had the shits, always getting into something. And the reason why I bring all this up about treating people well was I had the craziest interaction with what I thought was going to be a customer the day after Smokey died, what happened was there's a company called Remprex, and this company owns another company called Technical Services Incorporated or some stupid nondescript thing. You have no idea what they do. But these guys work down at the Port of Seattle. It has all to do with shipping containers and moving them off the boats with power equipment like these giant telehandler forklift type things that pick up these containers and take them off the boat and put them on the trucks. There's some guy from this company was like, hey, we need 3 of these giant forklift things pressure washed, and they want the water sucked up. And I could tell that he just wanted to have these things washed off, and he somehow came into awareness of the fact that he wasn't just supposed to spray those things off right next to the fucking ocean, get all that oil and antifreeze and fucking axle grease and just spray that shit into the water. They were like, no, you need to pick all that water up. So that's how he found us. Somebody gave him an ear beating, I assume, about just not doing it the way he thought he was going to do it. So he's like, hey, I need a company to come out here and come pressure wash these things for me and catch all the water because it's an environmental thing. I was like, no problem, that's what we do. I set up a time to, told him I was going to get him a bid on that Thursday, which is that night was the night we found out Smokey was in trouble. And I dropped everything. I broke my word. I did not give this guy his proposal on time. And our interaction was very cordial, and he was very nice and optimistic and enthusiastic. And then I didn't give him the proposal. I mean, I had this like family emergency thing that I was completely distracted with. So I wound up calling him on like Sunday that weekend, and I just apologized. I'm like, I know I checked out. I was like, look, I'm former military. I understand the work ethic. I had to see my friend out, and honestly, I'm a little distracted and kind of messed up right now. And the dude fucking freaked out on me. He went after my nuts, called me a pussy and a bitch and every fucking name he could think of on the phone. I mean, it was shocking. The only reason I didn't really hang up on him or take it too seriously because it was so fucking weird. It was the weirdest conversation I'd ever had with a potential client. He had a reaction that was just out in left field for pressure washing forklifts. And man, told me my company sucked, and I even started talking about getting into a gunfight, told me he was going to beat my ass to death, I think is what he said. And it was honestly, it was so over the top and so overt that it was kind of comical. I didn't really take it seriously, but I was also in the midst of some pretty bad heartbreak and was pretty messed up. So it was just a very crazy interaction on a crazy weekend. And my partner heard me talking on the phone and came in and videoed the whole thing. And I'll probably share a little bit of that with you in this video, just so you can see some of the shit you bump into when you start dealing with wash water. Because I think what happened was the guy didn't want to have it done this way, and he probably didn't want to spend a bunch of money on it, or I don't really know, or maybe he thought we were some kind of like super, liberal environmental company that was like, running around proselytizing for people what they should be doing, which is not what we do at all. But this guy's demeanor turned on in a way that was just psycho. It was absolutely a psychotic, sociopathic interaction. And I just tried to calm him down and apologize and say, look, man, I don't think this is what you think it is, and I'm really sorry about not getting your bid out on time. Maybe I can make it up to you with a discount or something like that. But he wasn't having none of it. And I made him a deal. I said, like, hey, eventually, after talking to this guy, I kind of understood that I think he was shit-faced. It was on a Sunday. I think he'd been drinking all day. And I told him, look, I'm not going to take any of this thing personal. Just call me back on Wednesday this week, and maybe we can work something out and save this little collaboration. I'm just going to chalk this up as you having a bad day. And he was like, whatever, dude. And so he never called back. So I'm pretty sure the guy was just shit-faced. But yeah, that was a crazy thing that happened on the weekend that Smokey died. And yeah, on to the good news. So we got the big project finished up. We got a couple little things left to do. What we want to do is we want to turn over a really nice finished product. So we're going to go back and re-clean some high traffic areas that have gotten a little scummed up since we've been in some of these areas, because it's like 5-6 week long project. Some of that stuff has gotten bad again, just a little bit, not bad, but we want to turn it over like perfect. So we're going to go back and do a little extra so that we can hand over something that's like basically pristine. And basically we did everything we were supposed to do, met our schedule, met our deadlines, and basically pulled it off without a hitch. And what happened was basically the best possible outcome that we could have hoped for. Not only did we get a great, big, awesome, big, profitable job, but of course we were hoping that this would lead to more. And it appears that this has in fact been what is happening. And we're excited. So, when we got through about the third week, right about the halfway point, it became abundantly clear, I think, to our clients, the people that hired us directly and also the people that they work for, that we were serious about our work, we're good at it, and we were maintaining our schedule and hitting our goals each night. We weren't, failing and putting up a bunch of bullshit excuses and just basically not getting it done. We just literally were plowing through like we always do. Of course, they didn't know that because they didn't know us. We had to demonstrate some reliability and demonstrate the nature of the character of our company, and it seemed to have been exactly or maybe what they wanted to see. And they started sending absurd amounts of new work requests, proposals. None of it's actually gone through or been approved, but I mean, the very first thing they asked for was 100 buildings, and just dream come true situation, literally best possible outcome. And more batches of proposals. I was doing proposal batch after proposal batch, and then we were working at night, plugging along on the big project that we were actually hired to do. And it looks like there's not going to be any break or any downtime. We're going to finish up our last 2 little cleanup nights that we're doing Monday and Tuesday night this week, and then we're going to go right back into another bananas push that all has to do with this organization going through a big reopening, inviting everyone back to come to work in the office from the pandemic, and they want to clean a bunch of stuff before that happens. So yeah, no rest for the weary. We're gonna it's not for sure. We've given them our proposal to do all this. They want an absolute absurd amount of work done in an even more absurd amount of time. So it's going to be massive overtime. There is no way that we could do this for what we would normally charge. There wasn't even time to actually go properly bid it. It was just here's a list of 110 or 120 things at 80 different buildings, and we need a proposal in the next 9 hours. It was okay, because there's this very tight timeline to get all this stuff done before they bring everybody back. Like a lot of organizations right now in Washington State, the governor's decided to lift the vaccination and mask mandates, and all that stuff's coming off in certain dates, and everyone's opening back up. And it's absolutely crazy. I couldn't go look at any of this stuff. I already know what a lot of it is because I've been driving around the campuses and looking at this stuff. But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's going to be balls to the wall, 70, 80 hours a week. Just work, and then go work some more. And then after you get done working some more, then you're going to go work until your fucking eyes bleed. Just work. And after you get done working until your eyes bleed, then you're going to go work some more until you are curled up in the shower, sucking your thumb in the fetal position. That's that's basically what we're being asked to do, and we're going to do it if they approve our proposal, which I can't imagine they won't at this point because there's not really any time to sort this out. So, and we have this ability. One of the things that happened when I put up our first proposal for more work, they were asking me to come pressure wash a bunch of building entries and stuff like that, typical commercial exterior cleaning stuff. And they're like, we want hot water and no reclaim. And I was like, oh, maybe they got their own little storm system built in or whatever. So I just sent a little note. I'm like, hey, I don't know what the situation is there with the infrastructure under the ground, and if the storm drains are all perforated to groundwater and they don't link up to the city systems, but it's not really my place to get involved in this process. But here's what I know, which is a little bit about this stormwater stuff, is we're actually not allowed to do this unless you have your own kind of compartmentalized system that's not connected to the surrounding municipal infrastructure. And basically they came back and they were like, oh, we didn't even know about that. And I said, yeah, we can pressure wash as long as the water's going in the grass, around the entries, but anything that's going to run off into the parking lots of the streets, no, we can't do that. That's absolutely, totally being illegal. You can, some of the inspectors around these parts have been pretty clear about, you're okay to use cold water as long as you just stick a felt sock in the storm drain, you keep all the sediment out of the drain, and you don't do anything that has a lot of food, grease, and oil, so no cafeteria patios and things like that. And they appeared to be like oblivious to that whole thing. So I just wrote them a letter, explained all the rules, gave them some links to websites for the cities and all that EPA stuff, and they're like, oh. And these guys are all about being environmentally conscious. So they're like, okay, yeah, they amended their whole request. Yeah, let us know what it's going to be for full reclamation. And it's like, yeah, actually, we're the people to call for that. So good job finding us. And which is why they hired us to do the garage. And so we amended that and sent that over, and it was awesome. It looks like we're going to wind up being a big part of what goes on there in the future. So I'm super excited. But the next month is going to be psycho busy. I mean, psycho busy. I don't even really understand exactly what this means at this point, but this is going to be this very large and transformative event that just completely changes the course of our company. It's kind of one of those things that everybody hopes will happen to them, and all this work, this 10 years of just plowing through these challenges and refining these methods and tactics and building this equipment and making it work so that we can actually scale this business has finally paid off. It looks like we're going to hit the ground at full speed with just this one client, which has nothing to do with everything else that we do, which is significant amount of work that I've built up, regular clientele that we've cultivated over the last 10 years. But now we're going to throw this thing on top of it. It's going to be bananas. So good news and bad news. That's what's going on, guys. I'm going to stop talking and get back to this equipment maintenance situation I got going on here, because there's just not a lot of time. But I was feeling bad about neglecting the channel. I just kind of want to let you guys know what's going on. I'm going to go bang out these oil changes, go home, have some dinner with my partner, and wish our good friend her happy birthday tonight. But I got to get this done, and there is much more to come. We're going to, if we can, if it's appropriate, give you as much of a bird's eye view into scaling these types of operations and what you got to do to pull off a crazy volume of work when you're picking up wash water. Years ago, like I said, we used to work for a large grocery store chain, and that was a situation for my dad's company that scaled and went crazy, and it was profitable and it was awesome, but that was just regular old pressure washing, the old traditional non-reclamation way years ago. So now, essentially, the same situation, only with the new methodology, which makes it way harder, way more expensive, and way more profitable. We want to share with you guys how this is going to work. All right, guys, I'm Ben with Mechanized Cleaning Solutions. We'll catch you later with more to come. Much, much more. See ya.